Hi, I'm Ross Welty. I'm the founder of Five Stone Financial Group. And we have a lot of conversations with people making the turn in their life, heading toward the back nine, and we're working on their back nine blueprint. And for a lot of people, for everybody, that starts with understanding what is it that you actually want in retirement. And one of the biggest goals that most people have relative to their back nine, those golden years, is to travel. Now, that sounds great on the surface, but then I say something like, okay, awesome, where do you want to go? And then I get a blank stare that says, gosh, I don't know, maybe we'll take a cruise or something. And that doesn't feel super compelling, does it? So I came across this concept today that I thought I'd share with you. I first came across it on this site called milesgeek.com. And I'll put the link to the article in the description here. But it's this interest-driven travel, is this concept of marrying your desire to travel with things that you're passionate about. So let me give you some examples. Maybe you want to travel, you're going to retire, and you're interested in photography. You're interested in learning photography. Well, did you know they do guided photography tours in scenic national parks? So you can go to these beautiful places, you can get workshops on photography, and then actually go put it in practice in these amazing places with a guide. How cool is that? Maybe you're into food and wine. Well, you can actually book culinary and wine experiences across Europe. That sounds pretty good to me. I once had a client who said, when I retire, I know it's harder when you're older, but when I retire, I want to learn Spanish. Well, rather than sitting at your computer and trying to learn, conjugation of Spanish words, what if you did a cultural immersion program and language retreats? Now that's a way you can go, you can travel, you can get out of Dodge while doing something that enhances your experience of life in retirement. Some people want to do, adventure travel. Well, you can book travel with small groups that's light adventure travel, maybe serious adventure travel. Maybe you want to do whitewater rafting. Maybe that's something you're interested in. For me, I have a strong interest in history and genealogy. So maybe you're a history buff like I am, and you want to integrate your travel with visiting all the important Revolutionary War sites. Maybe you want to travel back to the home country, look up records, and find out where your ancestors actually came from. That's traveling with a purpose. So interest-driven travel is a way to meet your goal of traveling with intentionality. And, oftentimes I say to people that retirement isn't what you're retiring from, it's what you're retiring to. It's what's the life you're retiring to. And for travel, a lot of times it's not about where are you traveling from, what are you leaving behind, it's about where are you going. Now, I live in Minnesota, so oftentimes in the middle of winter when it's minus 30 degrees out, sometimes you just want to travel from here. But for the most part, to enhance your experience on that trip, if you can marry that with something you're very passionate about, think of the value that can provide. Now, what I'll mention is that when you think of retirement planning, and we specifically work on this in our back nine blueprint, is that this is something also to plan for. So if you actually go about this with intention and you build this travel into your retirement plan, you can actually make sure that your financial plan supports your travel and doesn't limit it because it's not something you've thought about. So go check this article out. It's pretty good. And hopefully it gives you some ideas to help bring more clarity and confidence to your retirement life. And of course, if you'd like any help with that, we're always here for you. I'm Ross Welty with Five Stone Financial Group. Have a great day.